The shotgun blast ripped through the autumn silence like a thunderclap from hell, shattering the buck's skull mid-leap and sending blood spray across the fallen leaves. I dropped to one knee in the mud, heart pounding, as Alex's scream echoed off the pines. "Kylie! Oh God! That's not a deer!" And we both stared at the mangled backpack tumbling from the underbrush, its strap embroidered with Jamie's initials in faded pink thread. In that frozen heartbeat, I knew our weekend hunt in the Smoky Mountains had just unearthed a nightmare we'd buried 2 months ago. Her sister's ghost, whispering from the grave we never found. I wiped the rain from my eyes, the metallic tang of gunpowder mixing with the earthy rot of wet forest floor. Alex was already scrambling forward, her boots sinking into the loam, tears carving clean tracks down her dirt-smeared cheeks. "This is hers," she choked out, clutching the backpack like it was Jamie's beating heart. "She packed this for her last trip." "Kylie, what the fuck does it mean?" Her voice cracked, raw as the wound reopening in her chest. And I felt that familiar pull, the one that had been twisting my gut since the day we met, back in that dingy Knoxville bar 3 years ago, when she'd laughed at my shitty pool shot and bought me a whiskey neat. We'd come here to escape. Really? Me, Kylie Harper, 28 and burned out from my gig as a freelance investigator in Nashville, chasing deadbeat dads and insurance scams for chump change. Alex Rivera, 27. The fiery EMT who'd patched me up after a bar fight gone wrong, her hand steady even as mine shook from the adrenaline crash. We'd been best friends since that night, the kind who shared everything, late-night drives blasting Lucinda Williams, greasy diners at 2 a.m., and secrets that felt too heavy for anyone else. But lately, those secrets had edges, sharp ones that nicked at my resolve. Like how I'd catch myself watching the curve of her neck when she laughed, or how her touch lingered a beat too long during hugs. Yeah, I was queer as a $3 bill, out since 18. But Alex, she was straight-edge vanilla. Or so she claimed. Married to her high school sweetheart until he bailed last year. Though, in the quiet moments, I'd wonder. Jamie's disappearance had shattered that fragile normalcy. 2 months back, on a solo backpacking jaunt through these same ridges, the 24-year-old artist, Alex's baby sis, all wild curls and watercolor dreams, had vanished without a trace. No screams, no sightings. Just her beat-up Subaru parked crooked at the trailhead, keys in the ignition like she'd stepped out for a smoke and never came back. The cops wrote it off quick. Wilderness mishap. Happens all the time up here. But Alex couldn't let it go. And neither could I. Not after seeing her unravel, night after night, scrolling missing persons forums until her eyes bled red. So we'd planned this hunt as therapy. Buck season opener. Just us girls in my old Remington. A 6-pack of PBR. And the promise of campfire stories to drown out the ghosts. But now, with Jamie's backpack at our feet, zipped open, spilling a half-eaten protein bar and a crumpled love note scribbled on receipt paper, we were in it deep. The note read, "Meet me at the old mill. Can't wait to run away with you. Forever E. Initials only. But the handwriting? Unequivocal Jamie. Looping and loopy like her soul." "Someone's been covering tracks," I muttered, scanning the tree line. The shot I'd fired, meant for what I swore was a deer silhouette, had probably scared off whatever lurked. Or whoever. My skin prickled, the woods felt alive. Eyes in every shadow. Alex knelt, rifling through the pack with trembling fingers. "There's blood on the strap." "Not much. But..." "Kylie, this is fresh." Fresh as in days. Not months. My stomach nodded. If Jamie was dead, and God, I prayed she wasn't, this wasn't an accident. This was murder. Hidden in plain sight. We hiked back to camp as dusk bled into night. The backpack slung over my shoulder like a lead weight. Our tents huddled by the rushing creek. Fire pit cold and accusing. Alex paced. Her flashlight beam jittering like her nerves. We call the cops first thing. No. Fuck that, we go to the mill ourselves. It's only 5 miles east. Right? We owe her this. Her eyes locked on mine. Fierce and pleading. And damn if it didn't hit me like a freight train. That unspoken thing between us. The one we danced around for years. Friendship, sure. But this terror stripped it bare. Revealing the undercurrent of want I'd shoved down deep. I nodded, pulling her into a hug that started platonic but lingered. Her breath warm against my collarbone. We're doing this together. Alex. No splitting up. No hero bullshit. Promise me. She pulled back just enough to search my face. Her lips parting like she might say something world-altering. Instead, she whispered, I don't know what I'd do without you. Kentucky. And in that moment, with the river roaring and stars punching through the clouds, I almost kissed her. Almost. Dawn cracked gray and unforgiving. Coffee bitter on my tongue as we broke camp. The old mill was a relic from the moonshine days, tucked in a hollow where the Little Pigeon River forked. Locals whispered about it, hauntings. Bodies dumped in the churn. Fitting for Jamie. The free spirit who'd chased every thrill. From street art in Atlanta to flings that left her sketching lovers in charcoal. Alex had idolized her. The baby sis who'd taught her to hotwire a car at 16. Losing her had carved hollows under Alex's eyes. Turned her laugh brittle. We trekked single file. Me leading with the rifle slung low. Alex mapping on her phone's offline app. The trail narrowed. Ferns slapping our calves. Until the mill loomed. Sagging timbers cloaked in ivy. We'll rust it to a halt. No birdsong here. Just the wind hissing through cracks like accusatory breaths. Spread out. But stay close, I said. Voice low. We fanned through the undergrowth. Boots crunching glass shards from shattered bottles. Teen's party spot. Or something darker. Alex's gasp yanked me around. She stood by a rotted beam. Staring at a fresh carving. J+E forever etched deep. Hearts intertwined. Below it, a drag mark in the dirt, leading to the riverbank. She was here, Alex breathed, sinking to her knees. Recently. Oh God. She's alive. Hope flickered in her voice. Fragile as a match flame. And I hauled her up. Our hands clasping too tight. Too long. That spark jumped again. Electric. But I stamped it down. Focus. Investigate. The drag mark ended at the water's edge. Mud churned like a struggle. I knelt.
Fingers tracing scuffs, boot prints.
2 sets. One smaller. Jamie's size. And the other. Larger. With a distinctive tread. Hunting boots. Like the ones half the rednecks in these hills wore. But something glinted in the shallows. A silver locket. Chain snapped. Alex snatched it. Flipping it open to a faded photo. Jamie. Grinning gap-toothed at 10. Arm around a shadowy boy. Ethan, she hissed. Her ex from college. The one who ghosted her after she came out as bi. Said it was too complicated. Ethan Caldwell. The name rang bells. I'd run a casual background on him months back. At Alex's tearful request. 26. Trust fund kid from Asheville. Daddy's logging empire. Clean record. But whispers of temper bar fights. A restraining order from an ex. And he'd been spotted in the park the week Jamie vanished. Hiking with friends. Friends like his hunting buddy, Rick. A cop with the Sevier County Sheriff's Office. Cozy. We need proof, I said. Pocketing the locket. Can't go accusing without it. But Alex was already fired up. Eyes blazing. Proof? This is proof. They fought. Jamie told me he couldn't handle her loving women too. What if he? She trailed off. The word killed too poisonous to spit. I pulled her close again. This time not letting go right away. Her body molded to mine. Soft and fierce. And for a reckless second, the world narrowed to her heartbeat against my chest. We'll find her, I murmured into her hair. I swear. Back at the truck by noon. Signal bars flickering like bad omens. We placed the call. Not to 911, too risky if Rick was dirty, but to my old Nashville contact. A PI named Lena who owed me for pulling her ass out of a surveillance jam last spring. Harper? Shit. It's been a minute. What's the play? Her voice crackled through the speaker. All Brooklyn grit softened by years in Tennessee. I laid it out, backpack. Carving. Locket. Ethan. Lena whistled low. Caldwell's connected. Daddy's got the sheriff in his pocket, literally. From what I hear. Rick Harlan? Yeah. He's patrol. But word is he's moonlighting as muscle for the family biz. Timber disputes turning ugly. You stirring this pot? It's gonna boil over. Alex leaned in. Voice steel. We don't care. Jamie's out there. Lena paused. Then sighed. All right. I'll dig. But lay low. Kid. These hills eat girls like you for breakfast. We hung up. The cab thick with unspoken dread. As we rattled down the fire road toward Gatlinburg Motel. Regroup. Alex's hand found mine on the gearshift. Thank you, she said softly. For believing me. For everything. Her thumb traced my knuckles. Question in the touch. And I swallowed hard. The air between us humming like a live wire. That night, in the fluorescent hell of the Mountain View Inn, we shared a room, 2 queens, but exhaustion blurred the lines. I showered first, emerging in shorts and tee to find Alex curled on her bed, scrolling photos of Jamie on her phone. The glow lit her face, hollowed by grief. She was gonna be somebody, she whispered. Gallery show in NYC next year. Now, I sat beside her, shoulder to shoulder, the mattress dipping us closer. She still is. We're gonna bring her home. Our eyes met, and time stretched thin. Her lips brushed my cheek, gratitude, or more, before she pulled back, flushing. Sorry. I'm a mess. Don't be, I said. Voice rough. Messy looks good on you. We laugh. Brittle. But it cracked the ice. As thunder rumbled outside, rain lashing the window, we talked till 3 a.m. Jamie's laugh. Her bat tattoos. The way she'd drag Alex dancing in dive bars. And me? I spilled too. The ex who left scars deeper than skin. The closet I'd kicked open young but still peeked into at night. Alex, listen. Hand on my knee. And when sleep finally claimed us, it was tangled together on her bed, limbs innocent but electric. Lena's text hit at 6 a.m. Ethan's alibi's bullshit. Spotted at Mill night of. Rick covered. Meet me Knoxville. 2 p.m. Bring heat. We bolted. Coffee sloshing in to-go cups. The Smoky shrinking in the rearview like a bad dream. Knoxville buzzed with college kids and leaf peepers. But our meet spot, a shadowed booth in a barbecue joint off Magnolia, felt like enemy territory. Lena slid in opposite, her leather jacket creaking, a manila folder fat with printouts. Girls. This rabbit hole's wonderland on acid. She spread photos, Ethan and Rick, arm in arm at a hunt club gala. Smiles wolfish. Bank records, shady wire transfers from Caldwell logs to a Shell account. And witness statements. Buried in county files. A hiker who'd seen two men arguing with a woman near the mill. Date matching Jamie's last ping. She confronted him, Lena theorized, tapping a blurry trail cam shot of Jamie's car. About the affair. Note in the backpack? That's her baiting him. Run away with you. But she meant expose him. Ethan's married now. Closet case. Banging his sister's best friend on the side. Jamie found out. Threatened to out the whole mess. Alex's face drained white. So they snatched her, I finished. Rage coiling hot. Made it look like a hike gone wrong. Lena nodded grim. But the backpack? Sloppy. Means they're panicking. Or she's fighting back. Hope and horror warred in Alex's eyes. And she gripped my hand under the table. Nails digging crescents. Lena eyed us. Smirking faint. You two an item yet? Sparks could light this joint. We flushed. But no time for denial. Plan hatched. Tail Ethan to his cabin outside town, where Rick was crashing. Bait and switch, Lena said. You girls play lost hikers. I cover from the trees. Get him talking. Record it. Risky as hell. But what choice? For Jamie. For Alex. Whose quiet I love you, that morning platonic. Sure had lodged in my ribs like shrapnel. Dusk fell sticky sweet as we parked a mile out. Hiking in with packs staged innocent water. Maps. A hidden wire in my collar. Ethan's place squatted on a ridge. Log mansion with floodlights glaring like accusatory eyes. Rick's cruiser idled in the drive. A beast of a man unfolding from it, barrel-chested. Mustache like a 70s porn star. I squinting mean. Ethan emerged next. Lanky and pretty boy. Blonde hair tousled. But his smile didn't reach the cold blue stare. Evenin'. Ladies, Rick drawled. Tennessee thick as molasses. Y'all lost? These woods ain't kind to city folk. Alex played it perfect. Fluttering lashes. Voice quaver. Our GPS crapped out. Saw your lights, thought maybe a phone. I hung back. Feigning shy. But my free hand itched for the Glock tucked in my waistband, Lena's just in case. They bought it. Ushering us onto the porch with beers and bullshit hospitality. Inside. The cabin reeked of pine sol and paranoia. Hunting trophies leering from walls. A safe cracked open to maps of logging claims. Ethan poured. Eyes flicking to Alex like she was prey. Hiking alone? Dangerous these days. Heard about that girl went missing. Jamie's her name? Friend of yours. The hook sank. Alex stiffened. But I jumped in. Casual. Yeah. Tragic. Knew her from art circles. You local? Bet you've got stories. Ethan leaned in. breath sour. Oh, I knew her all right. Wild one. Came crawling back last month, begging for another shot. But she got mouthy threats. You know, folks say too much. Accidents happen. Rick chuckled dark, but his hand hovered near his hip holster. My wire hummed alive, capturing every slur. Alex's foot nudged mine's signal now. Accidents, she pressed. Voice honey over venom. Like dragging her to the river? Carving your little love note to cover. Ethan's face twisted. Mask slipping. What the foo? Rick lunged. But I was faster. Glock out and steady. Easy. Deputy. We're just talking. Chaos erupted. Rick bull rushed, slamming me into the wall, trophy antlers cracking my shoulder. Pain blooming fire. Alex screamed, grabbing a poker from the hearth, swinging wild. Ethan bolted for the back door, but she tackled him. Fury unleashed, fists raining like she bottled this grief for months. Where is she? You bastard? Where's my sister? I wrestled free. Knee to Rick's gut, cuffing his wrists with zip ties from my pack, Lena's foresight. Sirens wailed distant backup. Or trap. Ethan spilled then, sobbing. She's alive. Basement. Tied up, didn't mean to. Just shut her up. We dragged him down creaky stairs. Hearts hammering. The door burst open to dim bulb hell. Concrete walls. Jamie slumped in the corner. Bruised and hollow-eyed but breathing. Wrists raw from ropes. Alex, she croaked. Voice a ghost. They collided. Sisters sobbing. And I turned away. Chest cracking open. But betrayal's knife twisted deeper. As Lena's team swarmed feds, tipped by her anonymous drop, Rick spat at me from the squad car. You think this ends it? Dyke? Caldwell money buys silence. And Ethan? His last glare at Alex held venom. She knew too much. About me. About us. The word hung. And I saw it then, the fracture. Jamie's note wasn't bait, it was real. She'd been in love with him. Despite everything. And he'd chosen murder over mess. We rode to the ER in ambulance wail. Jamie fore-dripped and murmuring thanks. Alex sat vigil, holding her hand, but her eyes kept finding mine across the bay. You saved us, she said later. In the waiting room's sterile hush, as dawn painted the windows gold. I shrugged, shoulder throbbing under bandages. Team effort. But she stepped close, cupping my face, thumb brushing my lip. No. You. I've been scared. Of this. Of wanting you like I do. Her kiss was tentative. Then fierce, salt and sweet. Years of almost igniting. We didn't rush it. Jamie healed slow. Therapy and trials grinding the Caldwells to dust. Indictments. Headlines screaming Timber Heirs twisted hunt. Rick flipped for immunity. Ethan rotted in county. But the scars lingered, Jamie's trust shattered. Sketching now in shadows. Alex's nights haunted by what-ifs. Me? I stayed. Building something real in Nashville's hum. Lazy Sundays with coffee and Alex's head on my chest. Hikes minus the horror. Love that felt like home after the storm. It's human. This mess we betray. We break. But we meant to. In America's wild heart, where pines whisper secrets and rivers rush unforgiving, we found our way back. Not perfect, but ours. And damn if that isn't the romance worth chasing. The trial hit Knoxville like a summer squall, fierce, soaking everything in its path. Then gone, leaving mud and memories. 6 months post-rescue, and the courtroom still echoed in my dreams. Ethan's pinched face on the stand, spinning lies about passion gone wrong. Jamie's quiet testimony shredding him thread by thread. He said he'd kill me if I told, she'd whispered, voice steady as steel forged in hell. The jury didn't blink. Guilty on kidnapping, attempted murder, conspiracy. Rick got conspiracy too. Badge stripped, facing years in a cell that smelled like regret. But verdicts don't glue families whole. Jamie moved in with us that fall. Her apartment sublet to some barista with dreams as big as hers. Our shotgun house in East Nashville, peeling blue paint. Creaky porch swing, swelled with her presence. Canvases leaning like drunken soldiers. Turpentine tang mixing with my morning bacon. Alex and I, we'd tumbled into it proper after the hospital kiss. All tentative dates at Percy Priest Lake. Picnics with wine coolers and whispers about futures. She was out now. Loud and proud. Tattooing a tiny river fork on her wrist. Our anchor, she'd called it. Me, the skeptic, felt roots for the first time since Mom's cancer ate her slow in 15. Though shadows clung. Jamie woke screaming some nights. Ethan's hands phantom around her throat. I'd find Alex in the kitchen at 4 a.m., staring at the fridge like it held answers. Her scrubs rumpled from double shifts. What if we'd been later? She'd murmur. And I'd pull her close, murmuring back. But we weren't. Love's a bandage. Not a cure, holds the bleed. But the ache throbs on. One crisp October Saturday, with leaves torching the Cumberland, we decided on a reset. Road trip, Alex declared over pancakes. Syrup dripping from her fork like lazy honey. Blue Ridge Parkway. No cell service. Just us. Jamie perked, eyes lighting for the first time in weeks. Art supplies in the trunk? I could sketch the vistas. A grin. Flipping eggs. Hell yeah. But no hunting rifles deal. They laughed. But it was edged. The word hunting a bruise we poked at healing. We piled into my '98 Tacoma, dented fender from a Knoxville joyride. Bed racked with coolers of PBR and PB&JS. Jamie shotgun. Playlist blasting Brandy Carlisle's The Story. Windows down to whip our hair wild. The drive blurred Tennessee hills into Virginia's velvet rolls. Air crisp with cider mill promise. Stops at Mabry Mill for corn dodgers. Overlooks where hawks wheeled lazy. Jamie sketched furiously. Charcoals smudging her freckles, sister to Alex's olive glow. But with that untamed Rivera fire. Curls a riot down to her waist. By nightfall, we camped at a gravel site off the parkway. Tents popping like punctuation. Fire crackled. Stars a spill of glitter overhead. Alex and I shared a sleeping bag. Her body spooned warm against mine. Breath sinking in the chill. This, she sighed. Lips brushing my neck. Feels like stealing time back. I twisted to kiss her slow. Hands mapping the dip of her waist. The road-weary ache melting into heat. Jamie catcalled from her spot. Marshmallow stick waving. Get a room. Lovebirds. Or don't free show. We broke apart laughing. But later. Zipped in nylon. Alex's moans muffled against my shoulder as we chased release quiet. Reverent. The zippers rasp our only witness. Morning brought frost-lace tints and decisions. Hike to the falls? Jamie suggested. Packing her kit. A side trail. Rough ridge. Steep switchbacks to a cascade that thundered like judgment. We geared up, boots laced. Packs light. Me with bear spray because paranoia dies hard. The path climbed vicious. Roots snagging ankles. But the views? God's own postcard. Ridges rolling endless under a sky bruised purple. Halfway. Jamie lagged. Breath ragged. Guys. Wait. We turned, her face ashen. Pointing to a boulder cluster. Scratched into granite. Fresh as yesterday. E was here. J forever. Not a heart. But a question mark. Jagged. My blood iced. Ethan's tag, I said. Voice flat. He was rotting in pretrial. But copycats? Or worse, his crew. The loyalist daddy Caldwell paid to stir shit. Alex paled. Clutching Jamie's arm. It's a prank. Has to be. But Jamie trembled. Eyes darting shadows. Feels like him. Like he's still watching. We bolted down trail. Hearts hammering. The falls roar mocking our panic. Back at camp. Phones lit with signals. News alerts pinging. Caldwell appeal filed. New evidence? Bullshit. But enough to rattle. Lena texted. Stirring ghosts. Watchbacks. That night. Fire low. We huddled close. Jamie spilled then. Voice small. I lied in court. About the note. It wasn't just exposure, I loved him. Still. After everything. By mess? Yeah. But he promised change. Then Rick showed. Gun out. And. Tears tracked her cheeks. Alex rocked her. Shushing soft. Why hide it? Shame, Jamie whispered. Didn't want to taint what you two have. Real love. Not my fairy tale fuck up. The confession hung. Heavy as humidity. I added wood to the flames. Sparks rising like prayers. Love's not a scorecard. G. It's messy. Yeah, but owning it? That's the brave shit. Alex met my eyes over Jamie's head. Gratitude deep as the holler. Later. As Jamie snored in her tent. We walked the perimeter. Alex's hand in mine. She's right, you're my real, she said. Stopping to kiss me fierce under the moon. Kylie Harper. You turned my nightmare into this. How do I repay? A grin. Nipping her earlobe. Keep kissing me like the world's ending. Works for me. But worlds do end. Sneaky. 2 days later. Back home. The letter arrived, no stamp. Shoved in our mailbox like a threat. Plain envelope. Typed note. Truth hurts. Jamie's not the only secret. Enclosed photos. Grainy but gut punch, me and Alex. Post-trial make-out in the courthouse lot. Time-stamped. And one of Jamie. Post-rescue. Slipping cash to a shadowy figure at a park bench. Bribe? Blackmail payoff? My PI instinct screamed setup. I called Lena. Voice tight. Caldwell's reach. She cursed. Likely. Appeals desperate. Smear the victims. Paint Jamie complicit. That cash? Could be her buying silence from a witness. Alex paced the kitchen. Jamie curled fetal on the couch. We fight, she snarled. Lawyers. Press exposed the bastards. But Jamie stirred. Eyes haunted. It's me. My fault. I paid Ethan off once. Before. To keep quiet about us. If it comes out. Xung đột bờ ríu. Betrayal's aftertaste sour. The appeal hearing loomed in Roanoke. A circus of reporters and redneck rallies. Free Ethan! Signs waving like Confederate ghosts. We drove up. Tension thick as fog. Jamie silent shotgun. Alex's hand vice on my thigh. Courthouse steps crawled with cameras. Mics thrusting like spears. Inside. The judge. A grizzled fossil with Caldwell campaign stickers in his past, banged gavel. But the new evidence unspooled. Jamie's payments. Twisted as extortion payoff. Me and Alex's privacy invaded as motive to fabricate. Ethan's lawyer. Slick as oil. Paraded witnesses. Rick's cousin swearing Jamie seduced and scammed. A friend claiming our rescue was staged for headlines. Lies. But doubt seated the jury box. Alex gripped the bench. Knuckles bone white. Whispering. Hold on. Kentucky. Jamie testified again. Voice breaking. I paid to bury shame. Not truth. He kidnapped me, beat me for loving wrong. But the photos burned. Her by identity weaponized. America's underbelly bared. Queer women as punchlines. Sisters as suspects. Chow Treo crack during recess. In the hall. A supporter, Caldwell plant. Burly and camo cornered Jamie. Whore's getting what's coming. He lunged. Fist cocked. But Alex exploded, EMT comm shattered. Tackling him to tile with a roar that echoed off marble. Touch her. UD. Join. Knee to his ribs. Security swarming. Chaos shouts. Cuffs clicking. Headlines brewing victim sister assaults in court. The judge dismissed charges, self-defense clear, but the damage? Nuclear. Jury hung. Mistrial declared. Appeal grinding eternal. Ethan walked on technicals. A ghost free while we bled. Betrayal's cruelest cut. Not his, but the system's. The town's. The whispers that painted us villains. We fled to the parkway again that night. Rain sheeting the windshield. Wipers slapping rhythm. Jamie and back. Silent sobs. Alex drove. Jaw set. Fuck them, she spat. We rebuilt. At our overlook spot. We built no fire, just huddle in the truck cab. Passing a flask of bourbon. Stories spilling like rain. Jamie's. I loved him. Yeah. But it was poison. You too? Antidote. Mine. Thought I was tough solo. Y'all showed me pack. Alex's turn. Voice thick. Scared I'll lose you both to this hate. We linked arms. Onai tumbreo koble. Healing's nonlinear therapy sessions in Nashville's Queer Center. Jamie's art turning rage to riot color. Gallery whispers turning real. Alex and I? Deeper now. Ring swapped casual last spring, promise. Not possession. Ethan's shadow lingers. Appeals dragging. But we hunt our own way. Advocacy. Podcast spilling truths. Sisters and lovers arm in arm against the dark. Humanity's the hook. That in betrayal's wake. We choose grace. Or try. In America's fractured heart. We carved our forever. One stubborn step at a time. Winter clamped Nashville like a vice that year. Ice storms glazing efforty. Power flickering like a junkie's pulse. Our house hunkered against it. Chimney puffing defiance. But inside. Fractures spiderwebbed. Jamie's complicity tabloid fodder fueled nightmares. Tabloids dubbing her siren's snare. Queer forums dissecting our staged romance. Ethan, out on bail. Slinking Asheville shadows. His father's lawyers grinding appeals like millstones. Rick, 5 years. Plea deal. But his cop buddies stonewalled subpoenas. Brotherhood thicker than justice. Alex threw herself into work. Shifts stacking till she collapsed on our couch. Scrub stiff with bleach. Gotta keep moving, she'd mutter. Dodging my arms. I freelanced harder, tailing cheats for divorce courts, bankrolling a lawyer pro bono for Jamie's defamation suit. But money's a leaky boat, bills piled, tension simmered. One blizzard night, flask empty and tempers frayed, boiled over. Jamie accused Alex of playing savior to forget mom, drudging their abuela's abandonment. Alex fired back. And you're still chasing ghosts. Jay, Ethan's dick wasn't love. I mediated. Voice hoarse. Enough. We're family. Not fucking battlefield. Silence fell heavy. Then Jamie fled to her room. Door slamming echo. Alex crumbled. Head in hands. She's right. I do this fix. Fix. 'Cause breaking's worse. I know. Tilting her chin. Breaking's how we been. Babe. Without it. Know us. Our kiss started soft. Apology in every brush. But hunger edged in, clothes shedding frantic. Bodies colliding on the rug by the fire. Rough. Reclaiming. Nails raking backs. Gasp swallowed whole. After. Tangled and spent. She traced my collarbone scar from Rick's slam. Marry me proper? Rings were cute. But vows? I want the world knowing. Spring bloom tentative, crocuses punching dirt. Our engagement party a low-key affair at a printer's alley bar. Fairy lights strung ironic over whiskey shots. Lena came. Toasting to stubborn bitches. Jamie unveiling a mural. 3 women mid-stride through woods. Rifles swapped for brushes. Faces fierce and free. But joy's fragile. 2 weeks later. The call came, Ethan's car. Wrapped around a tree off 81. Skid marks screaming speed or sabotage. Dead at scene. Blood alcohol triple limit. Official accident. Whispers suicide. Or Caldwell patriarch tying loose ends. Funeral was circus. Press ghouls circling the gravesite. Ethan's mom wailing theatrical. We didn't go. But guilt gnawed Jamie raw. Part of me mourns, she confessed over diner fries. Eyes red-rimmed. The boy I loved first. Before the monster. Alex squeezed her hand. Mourn the good. Burn the rest. That night. Bonfire in our backyard. Photos of young Ethan fed to flames. Jamie's sketch of their forever curling black. Catharsis. Smoky and sharp. Summer scorched. Trials resuming in federal court. RICO charges on the Caldwells. Logging bribes tangled with cover-ups. Rick flipped full. Testifying Ethan panicked. Called Daddy for cleanup. The old man crumbled on stand. Empire teetering. Verdict guilty. Sentences stacking decades. Justice. Belated and bitter. Jamie's suit settled quiet. Enough for therapy. A fresh start in Atlanta's art scene. Time to fly solo. She hugged us goodbye. Ujo rumbling. But y'all? My North Star. Wedding day dawned golden, September 15th. Backyard vows under oak boughs strung with lanterns. Alex in linen suit. Crop jacket showing her ink. Hair loose and wild. Me in chinos and vest. Freckles popping under sun. Officiant a drag queen named Ruby. Voice velvet thunder. Do you? Kylie Harper. Take this magnificent mess of a woman. Hell yes, I grinned. Ring sliding warm. Alex's I do crack tears. Her kiss sealing salt sweet. Reception spilled to the street, barbecue pit smoking ribs. Neighbors two-stepping to fiddle tunes. Lena shotgun dancing with a deputy she charmed. But romance's vein runs deep with ache. Honeymoon in the Keys, conch shells and catamaran sails, but Alex's calls home check Jamie hourly. She's good, I'd soothe. But worry etched her fine. Back home. Patterns shifted. Alex easing shifts. Me pitching a true crime pod. Echoes in the pines. Our story anonymized but raw. Episodes dropped. Listeners hooked. Queer voices amplifying. Donations funding missing persons tech. Fall circled again. Anniversary hike to the Smokies full loop. No sortguts. Trail dust familiar. But we walked hand in hand. Packs light with sandwiches. Not secrets. At the mill ruin, now a memorial plaque. In memory of resilience, we paused. Full circle, Alex said, leaning into me. Wind whispered through ivy. Carrying ghosts faint. Think Jamie's happy? Asked. Lacing fingers. Text says yes. First solo show next month. We kissed there. Slow and sure. River chorus our witness. Years blurred. Pod hit top charts. Alex teaching EMT classes. Me consulting for feds on cold cases. Jamie visited. Partner in tow. A quiet sculptor named Riley. Hand-stained clay. Ice kind. Family dinners loud with laughter. Scar stories not shackles. But humanity's the rub we falter. Rise. Repeat. Alex's miscarriage last winter gutted us. A grief private and profound. Our story's not tidy, she wept. Curled in my lap. But it's ours. We planted a dogwood. Pink blooms defiant come spring. Now, porch swing creaking under star-stung sky. PBR sweating beside me. Alex's head on my shoulder. Remember the hunt? She murmurs. Fingers tracing my wedding band. Thought it'd break us. I chuckle low. Broke the cage. Maybe. Set us free. Below. Fireflies pulse like heartbeats. America's wild pulse thrumming steady. Betrayal taught us. Love's not absence of storm, but dancing in the downpour. Human. Flawed. Fierce we chose each other. Every dawn. And in that choosing, found grace enough to last.